All right, so the last time we were here, um, I just gotten this part done. The animation when we switch to different stations, keyboard navigation working fine. There were a few things I need to do. One, which is if I'm at a station, the first station photo, I want there to be some indication, some visual indication that you're at a first station photo. And then have a different indication for other station photos, and then a third indication for, or just normal indication for non-station photos. And then I want this color, this background color, to be determined by the color of the actual subway line. So let's just take a look there. Toronto Bloor subway line map, and I think this is official TTC maps. They actually might not be, but I'm sure I could find some official TTC map and then use the color from that. This is from Wikipedia, so I'm assuming that someone's taken this map from the TTC, and it'd be this color. MTA line 5. Also green, it seems, but a different shade of green. And so we'd take this color, and then Victoria line is this blue, so we would have this blue color for the Victoria line, and that information will come from the backend server. And one of the things I guess I was realizing is overall, I probably don't even need a backend server for this if I have a place to host my images. Um, all that information can just be straight up um, in the JavaScript app. There's no real reason for me to have a server that's serving this, but until I figure that out, server it is. Okay, so um, there was another bug that I want to solve. So let's open this up and clear that out. When you land on just the album home without a specific image, while it does do the redirect, now this problem happens probably because on mount we're hitting the refs that don't exist. So let's fix that. Here, current image ref. So I can probably say if not current image ref, return. Let's see if that does it. Nope, it's on a different line, 54. Okay, weird. If not current image ref, dot value. And now if I come in here, remove this, I still get errors, and they're coming from Aldo View 120, which is here. That doesn't make sense. Undefined ID. So either image ID, yeah, so image ID doesn't exist, and I'm trying to loop through in my header, right? So somewhere down here, this won't get displayed, I suppose, if there's no image. Because router view doesn't get hit because the URL doesn't define a view. And then here, I do need to check whether there are at all any images. So I think I can say that. Response.data.images. Um, I would have assumed that, oh, it's image ID. That's the problem, not images. So that's fine. No, still want to do this. So I just put a question mark here because I still want to show um, the line itself, even though you might be on the landing page, because you know, you'd come to the landing page, there'd be some indication of what this album is, and then you could still go ahead and click and navigate. So now I think I've gotten rid of the bugs. I have not. Right, so anywhere where this image business is. If there isn't, then it's just blank, right? There's no indication anywhere. Did I miss anything? Refresh. Cannot read properties of undefined reading ID. So I assume it's not the ID, and did I not save? Okay. I probably didn't save. That's fine. Okay. So, okay, so that's fixed. Just me adding a bunch of question marks. Okay. So now I want to, I can also, sorry, it's just bugging me. I can also just get rid of this console.log. Okay. Right now I can think about how to indicate a station and a non-station. So these are non-stations. I might try changing the size of a non-station. So I guess first I have to indicate that there is a station. So I did this station true thing. So let's me do that for the first 5 photos. Or first 2 photos. That's good enough. And then maybe I can say first station for this other one as well. I suppose I could detect first station in the code, but if I can do this, that's fine. Oops. Okay, so in my line, I want to see whether I can make some changes here. So I put in a class of W4, but I might be able to say if I dot station, if not I dot station, then make it smaller. So which gets slightly more complicated because I have all of this running here where I have these colors and everything. So I might just create a function to return the class value based on the image and the image ID. Just go to the bottom of my script and I can say something like image classes, and we're gonna get, okay, that's fine because image will be available to this function here, so I can say current image, and they do something like class equals image classes, and pass in I, which is the current image. And for now, I can say something like probably preset, and I'll go if current image do this. And I can say something like classes.push. Text slate 700. $200. And then return classes. Doesn't like this. Image dot value, because I'm no longer in current image. I don't have defined. I'm gonna just any it up for now. And this is where, like, if you have a monorepo, it's nice to have shared types. Get rid of this, and I can get rid of this. And everything should be styled as normal. And now I can focus on my styling here instead of messing about up here. So let me see if it's not a station. So something like if keep doing else as well. If it's not a station, so current image dot station. Oh yeah, if it's a station, you know, do something like this and this. If it's a station, keep it 4, and maybe 3 if it's not a station, and then I can just get rid of this. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. This way I know that this is a station and the rest of these are not. I don't dislike that. Another thing I want to try is maybe giving this some kind of a border as indication. And it is SVG, so SVG add border. CS using CSS. Drop shadow. Seems like I could add a stroke. Drop shadow seems interesting. What would happen if I had added a shadow here? Oh, wow. Looks nice. I mean, it's barely perceptible, but it's not. It is there. Cool. I like it. Let me see if Tailwind has a stroke. Stroke dash color will add. So let's just try this. If it is a station, I don't see, there's no strokes happening here. Image classes, maybe I need to, in the same way I'm doing this fill current color, do I need to tell it to be strokeable? If current image station stroke slate. Is there anything else I need to do? Maybe give it a stroke width. Not really seeing. A stroke. Maybe if I remove this shadow. Oh yeah, I mean that doesn't make a difference. I didn't think it would. Let's just make sure that those styles are being applied, that I'm not just making assumptions. So those styles are there, and they are here, and they're directly on the SVG. So maybe the path needs some kind of direction similar to this. So I guess there's stroke things I could put directly on the path. But I wanted to work with CSS. So it won't override inline things. Well, here they've okay, circle. The class is not on the SVG itself. Um, it's on the path. And I don't really want to put these classes on the path. Okay. Yeah, I guess it seems like that needs to be on the path versus on the SVG. I was hoping I could get away with putting the stroke on the SVG, but let's just test it out. Can't spell stroke. Nope, don't see anything. Also don't see anything. Um, hmm. That doesn't help. Stroke. Nope. Nope. No. 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 Get rid of class completely. Okay. All right. I'm out of luck with the stroking business. Maybe I can just settle with a different color for now. And we'll just have to live with it. Let me just find another station and mark it. Oops. Okay, that's this one. I actually don't know. So if I refresh, it's a bit larger. Yeah, that is noticeable. What happens if I make this 2? That's way more noticeable. What if I made this 5? How would that feel? Larger is better. And that contrast is much more noticeable. So I do like that. And it's, it's super simple to see. So it's not very overbearing. And if I could just get that stroke working, then maybe I could just have a stroke for the first one. What did I do? Yeah, I mean, it's super clear here that that's the station. And I no longer have a color for the current current image equals image.value ID text slate. What did I do? I do have fill current color. I have all this. So why? I actually don't even know which one of these is selected. So let me just click the first one here. Okay, I can't just say current image. That's silly. There you go. And let me just make sure that this is the same color as this background. Slate 700. Maybe I can make it just a bit lighter. Nope. Nope. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna spend maybe just a few more seconds figuring out. Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't even notice. I don't know if you're still there. So I'm gonna try and see whether now I can figure out the stroke. I'm gonna only just spend a few minutes on it, so not too much. And then I guess I'll get on to doing the click thing, highlight first station photo. So I'm almost done this. And then switching albums might be something that I get into. Okay, just move these up. Okay. Okay. So stroke thing. And yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine if it's not selected or selected. So let's give it a few more seconds trying to figure this out. Can I give this a stroke directly? Stroke. Doesn't seem like it. Yeah, I have no idea why this wouldn't work. It's so much stuff here. Fill, stroke opacity. Ah, okay. What if I, sorry, I didn't think of this. What if I do stroke current color? Um, will that take direction from here? No, doesn't seem like it. That would have been nice if that was the, also I'm not spelling this properly, stroke, which, I mean, if you don't spell things properly, they won't work for sure. So let's see if I can still do this. Like I'm not seeing a stroke here. I mean, it is. So the stroke color has been taken here, the width, but maybe there's some SVG specific thing that I'm not familiar with, showing me that these stroke colors have been overridden. So I mean, it does seem like even this path, let's say if I was not to have this, um, it does have the stroke value. It does have stroke width, and the path has it. So it's just a matter of the CSS not applying, and I'm not entirely sure why that's happening. So I think I've spent too much time trying to make that work anyway. For now, I live with this. I live with the different size. Maybe I can just make it a different color. Don't love that, but okay. I don't hate this. Um, it's a bit wider, so super subtle, but I think the combination of this and that will work. And now I can get to, sorry, just one last thing. What if, um, what if these were really dark? And then, but then I can't indicate. See, that would have been nice. I could keep these dark and then have the stroke or something else as a different indicator, but I can't do that. So, um, that's not gonna work. Okay, that's no good. So I guess I'm pushing this class in and then I'm pushing this class in as well. Which doesn't work. I can't have colors both here and here. Um, so making selected image, and this will be this. If selected image, then nothing. If not, then this. So now I can have probably the best of both worlds. Okay, and I'm happy enough with that. Okay, so now I can take a look at getting album information from the backend server and loading that. So okay. And I similarly want like an albums response where or album response. It's fine. And I can have an album and then data album. Now in my backend, where before I was just returning an ID, I will return album information. And similarly, this may come from and this may come from, okay, so that is loading. Let me see if it is picking up the album. Toronto, so it is getting the album. And similar to where my images are, I can just have albums stored there as well. It's just an array, so albums will also be an array. I guess the ID can be Toronto, and the name can be the fuller name. So this will be I want to have a volume. Toronto is volume 1. And then these are the other volumes. Okay, so I have a name, and that's the name I want to display here. And maybe the volume as well, but for now, let's just let's display the name here. So if I run this, Toronto should now give me, well, it won't because I haven't pulled that in. So let me do that. Data folder, albums right here. And then I just need to find the particular album. I guess this could have been a hash, but that's fine. This is a string, so I need to parse it. And then this can just be album, and the only thing I'm unhappy about is here. I think I did have types though on my backend, right? Maybe I didn't because it was all super just in here. So that's fine. We'll live with this for now. And now I expect that information to come up here, and I can get that in here. And then this for landing page later, I can have a proper landing page space as well. Okay. Album name, which is really album ID, I guess. But whatever. This can go away. This I don't need. This is hidden all the time now. And this can be album.name. And I'm seeing that come up. So let's style this a little. I do want to give this a bit more space on the X axis. Actually, okay, that looks better. Oddly enough, I want to say something like line. Then colon, city name. I wonder how much space this will take up. I definitely don't want that. That is a no-no. So I wonder if I can just tell this to not flex. No, I can't. I was just trying to see whether I maybe it'd have to be this, not this. It's the flex is here, so flex none. No, also not what I had wanted. That's actually what I want. Something like this. So what does this do? I think it just probably fixes it. I keep forgetting. Okay. So line volume 1 Toronto. I don't want to do that. I can set a couple of spans here and do that, and then class. Okay, guess it doesn't want to give me autocomplete right now. How about just a block actually? That's better, and I can style this a bit different. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. I feel this line here is super large though. Not a big deal, but maybe I can make it a bit thinner. Nope. Yeah, okay. Okay. All right, so I'm getting my album information up here. I'm getting, I have my navigation working almost fine. It's not quite centered, but I'll fix that later. And I'm navigating fine, so maybe now I can do the touch thing by having sort of an absolute cover here over the image. I wonder how that may or may not mess up what we have here. So maybe I can do something like this. And at this point, I'm no longer getting that transition's gone. Does the opacity not work if why would that happen? Why would putting this inside components, why would putting this inside a div remove the transition? It's weird. And in earnest, like, this is not bad as well. Like, just the photo popping up in front of your face. I don't hate that. Let's just see what's happening in the that's interesting. Probably because of flexing and not an overflow being hidden. Fine, no worries. Let's just take a look. So this becomes my div and this is my image. And if I change the transition classes are not being applied anywhere. Okay, that seems to be the reason why. What if I was to outer div this? So now that does maintain the transition. So maybe that's fine for now. What I'll end up doing is having a div up here and then having two divs inside here. And what I'll do is I'll flex row this, and then the width here can be half, and I can add the same width here. And let's just add a color. And that will, it's probably down there somewhere, but we won't see it. So I want to make this relative, and I want to make this absolute. Top 0, right 0. So my expectation would be to have seen something green now, but I'm not. It probably needs a width. Okay, and maybe I made like this red for the contrast. And now when I click here, I want to go right, and when I click here, I want to go left. I don't want. So if I use my keyboard shortcuts, that works. And now on click, based on which area you're in, I want to transition. So let's take a look here. I have add listeners. So all I'm really doing is this, really. Okay, so I can just have function transition to image, and that will take the image. I'll just call it transition image for now. And then this will go in here. And my whole check can be happening in here as well, so that's not a problem. And then here I can just say transition to image. Somewhere along the way I lost my autocomplete. Transition to image. Oops. Yeah. And then this can be next image. And I don't need the same. And that way in the down there, so that still works. Yep. And that way in here I can just do click transition to image, previous image, and now it doesn't matter if it exists or not. And then, oops, and then I can do next image here. And that works. So I can navigate now through clicking, depending on the side I'm clicking on. I can navigate through my arrow keys. So, okay. First station photo we didn't highlight, but we decided, okay, fine. Navigate through this. And I think the last thing I'll want is maybe if I click somewhere here on maybe the line itself, it goes back to the main site. And here maybe I pull in all the albums and I have just a display of each one. Maybe I can just do that really quickly. So let me just, I made a bunch of changes. So send album. And I added the clicking thing, but that's fine. So now, yeah. I want something for all albums. And that will just return all the albums, and I don't need this. And for now, I'm just going to have just like 3 boxes with just the name of the albums, and that will suffice. App. So I have my router view, which means I can create a route just for home. and I don't have a home view, so I'm gonna copy image view and make it home. And then I would have expected to have seen hello here now, and I don't. I do actually. It's super dark over here. Okay, cool. At least I'm able to see something. But really, what I really want here is one to grab all the albums. And then oops, um, um, let me just get out of Vim entirely and get back in. And now my autocomplete is there. Okay, so allegedly now I will get my albums in here, and then I can take a look. Yep. Okay, so I can loop through these now. Is that displaying? Nope. No, it is not. So what am I doing wrong? Album of albums. This is suspensed because app is suspensed. Keys album ID. I feel like I'm not putting album name. Nope. So it is being loaded. So maybe I can just do something like this for now. And just have albums. It seems like albums isn't here at the time. This is, this needs to be albums. Okay. And that's what copy pasting will do to you kids. Okay. We have this. So now all I want is really just for these to be router links to each individual album. And that's album name. And I guess I can just have 3 boxes. I don't want to get too fancy here either. So add class to the end here. Padding X4, padding Y3, board shadow, set a shadow, and maybe a border as well, just for us to be, because the shadow isn't really going to be seen here because of the dark background. Get rid of that hello. And now I can do something like this. Line volume. album dot volume. Oops. Class equals block. And repeat that here. And okay, add some spacing. These don't really look like something you could click. But that's fine. I'm gonna try and add a router link anyway. So it's gonna be something like this here. And because I want the whole thing to be a router link. So again, I guess my v4 will live inside here. And I guess I have the case of a disappearing. Can I use in operator to search for path? And that's because I don't have a I don't have a 2. So now params is album name, which is really just album ID. And I can probably center all of this. But I might have to add another div for me to be able to do so. Take all that, place that in there. And then this can come out here. And I would have expected this stuff to have centered in here, but I won't be too worried about that right now. I just want to see if I can click and go to a, and the link doesn't work because I need name album. So now when I click, I go into Toronto, and since there's no Toronto landing page, it goes straight to the first image in Toronto, and I think that's fine. Although the back thing is a bit weird. Now I'm in London, and later I'll be in okay, so let's see if this works from scratch. New York. I can navigate. I can go back. Okay, back functionality is functional. I can go to London. And now it gets stuck. And I'm not sure exactly why. On click, it does work. And now, probably because there's an image preset, and it's getting stuck. But I might just figure this stuff out later. I did want to get to this point. I'm going to have to think about how I want this display to look. I haven't really given that any thought yet. And yeah, I guess I'm going to figure that out next. And then I can figure out this bug where I think it might be that I need to put stuff into on mount instead of setup, because the component is created on setup. So I think I can fix that now. So it might be the case that images needs to be a ref, and this needs to be on mount. I think I already have an on mount here. Scroll to nav element, because that's the first time it gets mounted. So that'll change up a lot of things here, unfortunately, or for like, well, I just need to make it work. So these are fine. These are all refs. And then this here, I want the album data needs to be a ref. And then images also needs to be a ref. Okay, let me just do that now. Ref, this can be undefined to begin. I'll put this in here. And then album.value can become this. Oh, didn't want to do that. That's fine. And then on mounted can be this. Things are going to break right now, so that's fine. And then the images, same thing. This can be a ref of, it's an empty array, and then this can go down here. Probably want to scroll after I've said everything. Images.value can be the images. And a whole bunch of stuff breaks now because a lot of this stuff is based on images being there. So this would also go on mount. And images would become images.value. ID doesn't exist on type never because and then this computed property is fine because we can say images.value. And this the computed property remains computed. And so all of that is fine, actually. And we just need to add .value here. Oops. Value, .value. Album should be fine. Oh, it thinks it's undefined. That's fine. And now maybe I can just figure out the errors. 138. And genuinely, it is undefined for a bit of time here. So I might be able to say something like album, like don't show until you have an album. And can I read properties if undefined? Image view, line 8. So the image is not defined, although that shouldn't be a big deal. I'm a bit surprised at that. So let's just try and figure this out. I mean, I suppose I could say something like v-if image, but I shouldn't have to. So, okay. Now when I refresh, everything does seem to be working fine again. Okay, I'm not a big fan of these fonts here, but I think that's fine. And maybe a lot of what's left for me to do is to, oh, let me test this out, right? So I made all those changes because if I go on Toronto and I navigate, now when I go back, sorry, back to here and I go to London, now I should be able to navigate to the next photo. And I can't. It's like a entirely different bug. Although I think the on mount thing was still the right thing to do. So I have a London image I've gone to. I have in album view, my album ref is set. Current image ref, okay, that's something else. Image, which is essentially my current image. So is it a matter of next image? Where it doesn't find it, and because it doesn't find it, it throws me back? No, doesn't seem like it. It does seem like the next image is coming from London and previous images nil, as it should be. So what's the trouble? When I click, it works. But when I use arrow keys, it wants to go to 3G. It wants to go to 03G. And my next image isn't 03G, it's 7NV1, which I think will come up when I click here. But it wants to go to 03G. And my assumption is that Toronto has a 03G, and somewhere I'm just storing that. So now I'm a bit closer to figuring this out. I mean, I'm doing next image.value here, so it's not like and let's use debugger for once. So I guess the way to reproduce this is go to normal one, visit Toronto, go back, visit London. Okay, it doesn't want to highlight anything, so let me just see if this would work. And at this stage, even though I'm in London, next image hasn't changed. Oh, and that makes sense. The clicking would work because I'm not using next image in the clicking. I'm using next image only in here. So my next image computed is incorrect. Which should change as images.value changes or image changes. As image ID changes. So there should be a bunch of cascading changes that make that happen. So if I go on view now and take a look at album view, image should be London, right? Like, okay, probably because I'm in debugger. View image should be London, and image ID should be this. So all of that is changing, but it seems like for whatever reason, next image has decided not to change. Except that it has. So the next image value is this. I guess so now when I use arrow keys, it should work. Although when I come in here and do next image value, I'm still getting the old one. from Toronto. And I'm gonna get that business of like being thrown back and forth. But when I go on view, so instead of debugger, let me just log it. And I don't know if that will be enough to reproduce the bug. Yeah, well, so I'll have to go back. Toronto, back, London, next image. There it is. Next image. And it seems like I'm getting both, right? I'm getting both the Toronto image and the London image. Ah, okay. That's like, I think this is weird, right? Because this, no, I think it's because of this. I think it's because of this. So let me see if I can put it on mount. And then also remove the listener on unmount. And then this function can be handle keyboard events. Keyboard events. And I can remove that and put that outside here. Okay, so let's just see if that's working. I also don't like something else happening here, which is this is empty and then you see it full because of the Ajax. So here, like I don't want this to show, only show if images.link. And that way, if I refresh, and by the way, I am refreshing. We won't see that. If I go on Toronto, we don't see that flash anymore. And my keyboard actions still work. And now if I go back, I do need to unmount because that will just double up my keyboard things. And I don't know whether this will fix it, but my suspicion is that it will. Okay, that means I need to say on. Is there an on unmounted? Yes. And then here I can say on unmounted. Remove event listener. And just to make sure it does take the listener itself. So if well, let's see if that ends up working. So now if I go here, I go into Toronto, navigate, I click back, go into London, and now if I use the arrow key, it should work. And it does. So that's essentially what was happening was the key up event was re-registering, and it still had because essentially these are closures in a sense. So it still had the next image value from Toronto, and both those events were running. And now because I am removing that on mount and on unmount, that works as we would expect it. And now my clicks work, my arrow keys work. I'm able to navigate across albums. I'm effectively done most of what I wanted to do today. And then I think the rest of the work here for me is creating an actual landing page just for the album itself. Maybe not even. Maybe just the thing is to style this up a little so that it looks nice. Home review. Ugh. And that centers it. Probably could have done H full here as well. And that centers it at the very least. Yeah, I don't know how I want to style these, and I'll figure that out. But that's it. That's what I wanted to get done for today.